Building a building a nuclear bomb is actually quite easy. When I was 16 years old, I made a model in my mind of how to create nuclear energy. Nuclear energy is energy released when the nucleus of an atom is charged. So what I do is that what I thought was if I can take uranium-235 and I take uranium bullet and shoot it at uranium-235, what type of reaction will it cause? And I soon found out that it will cause a chain reaction, causing high amounts of energy, create a nuclear explosion, nuclear energy, which will at the instant the neutron bullet hits uranium-235, it's going to instantly create a nuclear reaction, creating gamma rays, which will hit other atoms. Those other atoms will become antimatter, which will cause even bigger uh, chain reaction, causing a large explosion, releasing other gamma rays, hitting other atoms, causing even more antimatter, creating even more chain reactions, which will create an even bigger explosion. I soon realized how to make an atomic bomb at the age of 16. And what happened was, when the Manhattan Project came around, I was asked to participate in some of it. But because my mind wasn't as advanced as Albert Einstein, I certainly was extradited from the Manhattan Project because they said that my technique, it will work, but it will not create a big enough explosion, big enough to suit our needs. He said if you want to take out a town, we can use your thinking. We can use your knowledge of atomic theory and of nuclear energy. But right now we have no use with you, considering that you think small and Einstein thinks big. So I was soon extradited from the project. I was very mad about that. But then I soon figured out that I could make my own nuclear bomb, so I did. Uh, at age 18 is when I got the components ready. I got 23 miles of copper wire, 4 megabyte battery charges, 6,225 pounds of TNT, a big canister filled with neutron bullets, and I was able to get a canister filled with 45 tons of uranium-235. I stuffed that all into the garage of my mom's house. She never knew I had those. She never knew I had all the supplies. I won't tell you how I got all that stuff, but I will tell you that I had a lot of stuff to put in the garage, right? So that's when I started. That's when I went to work. I took a wrench and I started building the shell of the bomb. I started making the mechanisms that will cause the spark of chain reactions of nuclear energy inside the bomb, which will cause a chain reaction. I will have to put the gas chamber, which will hold the TNT, so when the thing explodes, the TNT will give the explosion, the chain reaction, even bigger exothermic explosion. So I put all the TNT I had in there, and instead of just using 1 ounce of uranium-235, I decided to use the entire canister of uranium. So what I did is I put all the uranium inside the bomb. The bomb was huge. The bomb I made was about the size of a nuclear attack submarine. It was so huge that I had to move it into the backyard. And I'm actually quite surprised my mom never knew about it because I covered up with a tarp. And it looked like our ping pong table, considering that it was shaped like a submarine. So she never knew about it. So every time she went to work, it was not a school day. I would go into the backyard and I would work on it. 5 years later, the nuclear energy was correct. The nuclear energy was now ripened and ready for use. I now had a charged, armed nuclear bomb. Now, one thing I forgot to do was to make a code identifier on the nuclear bomb. So when I put the code, punch the code into the bomb, it will make the bomb. It'll arm the bomb or it'll disarm the bomb. I forgot to put that type of mechanism on it. So the bomb 24/7 was uh, it was armed. So there was no way to unarm the bomb. If you were to take out the warhead, you would basically cause the chain reaction to form even quicker. So if you do release the nuclear warhead, you're going to explode the bomb, killing yourself and another few thousand other people. I was soon afraid of the notion of a nuclear explosion in my backyard. I knew I was going to be one of the first to go, so I called the police and I told them that I created a nuclear bomb. So what happened within a second, the hazmat team came by, radioactive team came by, the military came by. They stole that nuclear bomb and they put it into this huge truck that had a radio active symbol on the side of the truck with the military star on the side of the doors, and it drove away with the hazmat team. The police then arrested me. put me in jail for 2 years for making a bomb without license. And when I got out, my mom was very mad at me, of course. And I soon found out that they took my bomb, they shrunk it to where it was small enough size to be placed into a B-52 bomber. I'm sorry, not B-52, B-29 bomber. And I soon realized that that bomb was used in Hiroshima bombing. I was surprised that my bomb was to be used as the bomb to terrorize Japan, right? So the military said that they made that bomb. I think it was Fat Man or Little Boy, or one of the two bombs that hit Hiroshima. But they made up a story that they're the ones who made the bomb, but they really was me. But because I was young, they covered my butt, and they didn't tell the world who actually made the bomb, so they covered it up, right? So that was a very long time ago. So I made my own nuclear bomb. I can make another one, but more advanced than the one I did then. Of course, that was a very long time ago. But it was very fascinating to me how I was able to create a nuclear bomb at age 17. When Harvard got news on my record I was arrested for building a nuclear bomb in the backyard, they accepted me almost instantly. So I went to Harvard. I studied rocket science uh, for 4 years. When I got my doctorate degree at Harvard, I moved to Yale. I studied string theory. After Yale, I went to Columbia University to study theoretical physics. After that, I went to UC Berkeley to study chemistry and particle physics and cosmology. I got my doctorate degree on that. Then I went to uh, University of California, San Francisco, I think it's called. I may be pronouncing it wrong. I studied there. I think I studied uh, physical health, uh, physical education. After I went to University of California, Sacramento, or San Francisco, one of the two. I went to Maine to a university called University of Maine Family, and it's a new university, but it was soon knocked off and broke down due to its chemistry room leaked nuclear fossil fuel. So the entire school was evacuated. But of course, that was 2 years after I graduated. I still studied. What was it? I think I studied. I studied astronomy there. And when I got my doctorate degree, and from that, I soon went back to theoretical physics, and then I became a theoretical physicist, and I became the man who I am today. Now, it's actually a very interesting notion how I became who I am today, even though people don't believe me on when I my story how I made a nuclear bomb. I did. It was a very complex mechanism. The military called me back up 2 years. I think no, it wasn't 2 years. They called me up, I think, when I was in my late 20s. I think I was 28. They called me back up, and they told me how did I ever make that bomb? And I told them how I did it. And they said, how were you able to know how to make that? I said, I just thought about it. I just got stuff together, and I did it. I never knew it would actually work. And then that's when they enlisted me to work for the government. So that's what happened. I worked for the government from the 60s to 1999. And from then on, I became from a government theoretical physicist to a regular theoretical physicist, and I am the guy who I am today.